Okay. So, um, I actually did a reaction to this on stream already, or I did this on stream, but I just didn't like it. I wasn't really explicit enough in what I got wrong. So I wanted to remake it offline, do my thing. So the other day on my alt channel, well, a couple days ago, Moist Critical made a video about the second comedy roast battle of Def Noodles. And a lot of the commentary community were upset about it. They were complaining about it. So I took a look at it and I didn't really see anything wrong. Pretty much most of it was pretty solid. I mean, in my opinion. Except for there was one part where I had questioned, like, hey, was Salvo invited? Now, I got that wrong 100%. Apparently he was like invited. I went through some of the stuff and like there was like a back and forth. I don't know if Salvo like explicitly Def was calling him out. Back and forth. They had a back and forth. Now I think Salvo still had to buy a ticket or whatever, so he wasn't technically on the board. But Dennis basically told him to come out there. The rest of the commentary, though, I think was perfectly fine. Like Salvo, there was obviously there to instigate. Like that's the whole thing. Like, and yeah, do your thing. I'm not even criticizing that you did that. I think he bought like a bunch of tickets, or he had like at least a bunch of his friends there. It was an entertaining situation. Like, listen, I watched the actual thing on my stream and I posted on my main channel. Right, but that's the part that I got wrong. Right. And I have no problem admitting that. Realistically, I could just ignore it and be like, whatever, who cares? Because it's a small situation. I want to be explicitly clear. I know that the commentary community feels like this is like the end of the world because I don't know why. And maybe they're bored. This is a mess up on my part that I should acknowledge. But like the disproportionate energy is insane, specifically from Salvo. Like realistically, this is like he even clips what this is what I did wrong.
My understanding is that I don't know if Dennis specifically invited Salvo or if Dennis just invited anybody to come through. But that's about the history.
Yeah, all I'm saying is I don't know if he explicitly invited him or if he was like, anybody can come through as like an open invitation to people. I got that wrong. Yeah. But the response was excessive, frankly. It was excessive and it was weird. Like it's crazy. And I feel like it's because Salvo, I'll get into the specifics of why Salvo, I don't know. I know part of it's a troll, but dude, like it's just, dude, okay, so this is what it says. Papa Gut fat, of course. I didn't even know if I was invited or not. Papa Gut, what do you do all day besides talk boys out of rape, eat, and chain smoke your words? Your finger too tired. I think he meant too tired from piling trash into your mouth around on Twitter for a minute. And then this one, where your correction, you fat lazy fuck. And then, additionally, there's a group chat. I'm not going to get into the specifics because it's private, but this guy's like in there calling me like a fat retard. The question is like, why do you feel like what's the justifier for this like, frankly immature, disproportionate response? Like, hey man, you messed up. Listen, that's what happens when you're like a content creator, especially as you grow and people watch you more and more. And I'm sure you'll see the same thing. People are going to be like Hawkeyeing you and you're like, oh, you made this mistake. But like as a content creator, why would you put this like sniper rifle energy on? A lot of people in the commentary community criticize Ethan because they feel like he's not, like he goes too hard on edgier content when he used to make edgy content. He would have a disproportionate response. So it seems kind of hypocritical to have a disproportionate response, because that's what happens when you carry this type of energy, like this insane energy. You're just inviting it back to yourself when the eyes are on you. I mean, I just think it's incredible. It's weird, and it's a pattern of like weird disrespect. Like call me out respectfully. I remember like Nicholas Diorio called me out for like a bad title on a video. I did a reaction video, and I like accidentally just named it what the video was with like nothing else. I didn't even credit the person. It was an accident. He called me out and I fixed it. And I was like, oh, okay. That's what it is. Like, I have no problem with that. I have like a pretty open dialogue with a lot of people in there. So yeah, man, like this is just like fucking weird because it's really not that deep. The mistake is a mistake, but it wasn't that big of a mistake. It wasn't like the end of the world. The rest of I stand by pretty much everything else that I said. It's not that deep. And frankly, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but the Def Noodles situation was about Def Noodles. It wasn't really about you. You inserted yourself, and I'm not criticizing you for that. That's what a lot of commentary people do. I do that too. But like you weren't the focal point of the conversation. And like, I get that you can, with Def Noodles, you can bring any disproportionate energy you want to him, because this is a guy where like you could hit Def Noodles with a fucking brick when he's in a coma, and the commentary community will still say more than just that. Everybody doesn't like him. Everybody would just be like, oh, it's self-defense. Like they'll swear to it. You know what I mean? But like, you can't just go around acting like that with everybody. It's just like a really weird thing to. It's a weird standard to set, especially since every single person. Every other content creator who's saying that like people got it wrong, which you're right, you've gotten shit wrong before too. It's so weird. It's commentary. You guys fuck up all the time. I fuck up all the time. Everybody fucks up all the time. You know what I mean? Like it's just a human nature. Like it's like it's so weird. And when I operate, I try not to be like, oh fuck this guy when they mess up. You know? One of the things that bothered me was like this Keemstar tweet, because I know it's a passive aggressive tweet. Commentary YouTubers are becoming really lazy, spamming out hot take opinions on stories in the community that have done zero research on it. If you do this, you don't care about your fans. The reason that this bothers me is because it's a fucking virtue signal. And the reason it's a virtue signal is because Keemstar doesn't care about the facts. And you could be like, why? Why do you think that? Because you canceled Carson, bro, and you still haven't apologized. I've confronted you about this. And since you haven't apologized, that means that you still stand by your shit take. You canceled a 19-year-old for talking to a 17-year-old. You called it group. You supported the allegations. And when I say, well, you never released the ages in the first video, and that was horribly problematic, you're like, well, I didn't have that information. Then you don't release the story. So you don't get to play moral superiority. You're not the moral arbiter of the commentary community. You're really not. With the shit that you've done, like, you know, you literally cannot be the arbiter of them. There's no moral foundation. Like you're like the cognitive dissonance here is insane. So this passive aggressiveness is like ridiculous, especially from a content creator who is not exactly the most reputable. And I know that you're upset with me right now because we had a last conversation. You got upset because the comments weren't nice to you, and you're like, Papa God just tries to set me up to try to virtue signal over me. I don't, bro. We were having like a nice conversation, and you were going on this whole rant. This is what happened. You're going on a whole rant about how, like, nobody that criticizes you means it. It's just like Keemstar bad. And I was like, yeah, I think some people do that, but some people think that you've done bad things. And you're like, no, what are you talking about? And we got into a conversation, and the conversation to make you look good. I didn't want that conversation to happen. I wasn't looking for it, but it happened organically. I put it up on my channel. I don't know what you want me to tell you. But this whole narrative that you constructed that, like, I do this just to, like, put you in a corner is ridiculous. If I wanted to play the Keemstar bad game, I wouldn't be trying to, like, get, like, lack of a better term, like become friendly with you. Like, I mean, Jesus Christ, we have like a lot of conversations. Like, do you think that it doesn't look morally virtuous to be friends with Keemstar? But that's not my goal. My goal is to like have conversations and stuff, and like we generally have some reasonably stimulating conversations where, like, when we do talk, you, in some instances, you're very hard-headed, but so am I. But we make some leeway in conversations. I enjoy it. It's stimulating. So I find this whole thing frustrating, and I feel like this is a passive-aggressive knock. But maybe I'm just being too self-centered. When it comes to the Salvo situation, and I know like the natural outcome here would be like, oh, Papa, you should talk to Salvo. I just simply won't. I can't. I simply won't ever do it. And I'm going to explain to you why. I don't hate the guy. But like, you guys know I have like a very explicit rule. Like, hey, don't talk about my wife. It's very simple. She's not a content creator. She doesn't want to be in the public eye. Like, she... you know, yada yada. A month or two ago, there was that whole like high value male manosphere bullshit guy that like he said some dumb red pill shit. I countered it, and then he just started attacking my wife, and I was like, don't do that. Of course, Salvo made a clickbait video about it. He saw the title, making fun of my wife, whatever. So I was like, yeah, you know, I'm probably not going to interact with this guy. A little time later, I was on stream with Bo Blacks and Nicholas Diorio, and he wanted to pop in to apologize, and I was like, okay, you know what? Let me second chances, right? You know, to me, I was like, this guy's kind of a troll. I don't know if he's going to be genuine about it, but like, hey, like, let's do it. The first thing he does when he pops in is he makes another joke like about my wife. Like, he makes it like, it's like, dude, like, he just keeps talking about my wife's weight. It's like, dude, what? Like, I have no problem interacting with people, like, but it's, dude, I have one very clear boundary, and I get that you're like a jokester and you troll, but like, if you want to interact with me, like, that's the boundary that needs to be set. I feel like it's a very reasonable, respectable boundary to set. Right? I don't think that that's like too much. I know in the commentary community, a lot of you guys maybe don't set those types of boundaries. A lot of you guys are younger. A lot of you guys aren't married, and that's cool. I'm not insulting you, but like when you get, and like I think he is married, and like maybe he wouldn't care about like somebody insulting his wife, but like to me, that's like I don't know. Maybe that's just a man thing for me. But like, yeah, just leave my wife out of it. That's it. I would never go after anybody else's wife. You know, I guess if they specifically said something, I would criticize them. But like, especially, it's just like it's stupid, dude. Come on. And I'm hoping, even with this response, I want you to be like, I want to be very clear. This response alone, even like talking about the whole joke thing, is giving you a tremendous benefit of the doubt that you won't just clickbait it and make more jokes about my wife, right? I mean, like, honestly. But dude, and you know what? There's another thing too that night that really bothered me, and you know, Bo Blacks would know more than anything else, but I explicitly remember Bo Blacks reading the chat, and he read the chat. I think it was from Salvo, and it had something to do with my wife, and it had something to do with bleeding. I'm not going to get specific, but it sounded like he made like a really shitty joke about my wife. And it's like, why would I interact with you? So you're somebody who's instantly burned a bridge before you even like got to talk to me or met me, and then I make a really small mistake, and you have an absolute meltdown. And I want you to like explain how is this not a sign that you're incredibly sensitive to anything that happens to you? You know, like this is what happens as a content creator. People are going to like come at you sometimes, and it's like, you know, I mean, like even me, obviously I have to get a thicker skin. Like, let's be honest. Like, I'm not fucking perfect. Look, we'll scroll down. Okay, let's, because I thought that I saw this on my timeline. I thought it was kind of funny, so I'm gonna scroll down. I'm gonna show because this is actually is like right here. This joke here, right? When Papa Guy gets called names by Deaf Noodles, this is me crying. If you know, you know. Versus when Salvo Pancake gets assaulted multiple times. Right? I found this funny. But, like, I'm not proud of this moment. I wish I had thicker skin back then. This was a genuine moment, but I was like, I wish that I didn't have this reaction. Right? And, like, obviously, this situation with me getting something wrong that wasn't massively impactful, this outrage is, like, weirdly unprompted and, like, really immature, just, like, weird. And I don't really understand. I mean, we're content creators that share a space, and, like, it's weird to have to set the boundary that I can't share the space with you, but I have to. And maybe and hopefully that can change in the future. But like obviously, like I can't really trust anything that you operate with. So like it's hard to interact with content creators. And it would be nice because I am friendly with like Augie and Bo Blacks and Nicholas Iorio specifically. Keemstar and I are on the rocks right now. And so like I don't want to have to feel like, hey, I have to disconnect from the conversation if you decide to join in, or put them in a situation where they have to choose between me or you when they have a conversation. You know? And, like, I'm not even trying to be an asshole. If it's for content, they'll probably choose me because, like, and this isn't me just shitting on you. What I'm saying is, like, there are people in the communities that, like, you're not always going to like a lot, just like in real life, just like coworkers in real life. And, like, you know, just learn to respect each other's boundaries on stuff. I'm not saying don't make edgy jokes, but, like, obviously there's a limit, and I'm very explicit about it. You know, I set a very hard and very blunt boundary, and it's like, just meet me at the boundary. Like, I don't think I said, yeah, you want to call me a fat fuck or whatever, make fun of me crying. I don't care about that, but, like, meet me at the boundary. Just don't talk about my wife. Because it's just like a very weird thing. And given all that context, people watching, you can I want you to now think about that and apply that to the video that I posted on my channel, right? And that's like this one over here, right? The Deaf Noodles one. If you watch through it, and it's a long one, in my reaction, there's no indication in any capacity that I think that you're like a bad person. There's no like lack of charitability. I'm like just as unbiased as I normally am. I'm being like, you know, I'm doing my thing. My commentary is unimpeded by my boundary of not wanting to engage with you because of the shit that you've done. So like even after that, I don't think that you're like a terrible fucking person and shit. But like I'm still like my point is I'm still being like massively charitable to you, despite the fact that you have been nothing but disrespectful to me. And then I make a small mistake, and then you engage in the disrespect again. And so, like, I guess that's my biggest thing. I have no problem taking accountability for what I fucked up on, right? You were very clearly invited to that event, right? Even if it wasn't official on the card. And I don't say that to diminish the invitation. I say that as so that Dennis doesn't have, like, an out of, like, well, I didn't technically. And this motherfucker told you to pull up, you know? Right? So yeah, I don't even know. I was like fucking like lost my train of thought for a second there. Yeah, I have no problem like admitting like, yeah, I got that story wrong a little bit. But dude, this fucking energy. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, bro. I mean, like it's just shitty. And like I mean, I could just ignore it and it'll all go away, but I don't want to do that because I think that's like stupid. I try to operate in the best capacity that I can, you know? And that's for me. I'm not going to sit here and be like, Salvo, I'm doing you a big favor. No, man. Like, I want to maintain my credibility, and I want to be, like, as accurate and unbiased as possible. Sometimes you get it wrong, so I want to, like, admit when I fuck up. Absolutely. So I'm not going to pretend that I'm doing this for you, Salvo. Like, I'm not going to be, like, a fucking disingenuous piece of shit and be like, Salvo, this is for you. No. But, like, you know, meet me at my boundary. I'll meet you at yours. My boundary is don't talk about my wife. Your boundary is you're going to say some edgy shit when we have a conversation. either way, for the time being, I won't have a conversation with you because of that. I think that's perfectly reasonable. So yeah, that's my video. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and another special shout out to all my Patreon and Twitch subs. If you'd like to support this channel further than you already have by just watching the video alone, go down in the links below where you can sub on my Patreon, which will allow you to get your name on this beautiful black wall. Or you can go to the Twitch page and you can actually use a free Amazon Prime sub, if you have Amazon Prime, to subscribe. Thank you very much, guys. Take care.